Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I, too, rise in opposition to the bill, but for perhaps different reasons than what's been expressed in the past. Let's step back and take a look at what we're doing here. You know, how's this bill being couched? How are we pitching this bill to our friends and our neighbors and the people in Connecticut? We're saying that this is going to help our economy, and this is going to help workers in the state of Connecticut. We're saying this is actually going to improve the lives of workers and our friends and our neighbors. We're ignoring the fact that only about 5% of Connecticut workers actually earn minimum wage, and ignoring the fact that most, 50% if not more, of minimum wage workers are under 25 years old. In fact, most of them are teenagers, entry level. So what are we really saying? We are arguing that $1.10 over the next 2 to 3 years is going to help workers in the state of Connecticut. $1.10, 4 quarters and a dime. 4 quarters and a dime. That's what we're arguing. We're trying to convince people, our friends, our neighbors, our workers, our colleagues, that $1.10 is going to help lower our unemployment rate. What's our unemployment rate? The actual unemployment rate is closer to 10% than the real numbers when you actually count the people who've left the workforce. $1.10, 4 quarters and a dime. That's going to help lower the unemployment rate? Don't think so. Will $1.10 get back to 10,000 workers who have left the workforce in the last 3 or 4 years? 4 quarters and a dime. Are those 10,000 workers coming back into the workforce? I don't think so. $1.10's not going to do it. Will $1.10 get the 20,000 people who have fled our state in the last 3 to 4 years? Just threw up their hands and say, you know what, we can't live here anymore, we can't work here anymore, we can't afford it here anymore. The young and the old leaving the state. We've lost 20,000 citizens in the last few years. So what do we propose? How are we going to fix it? $1.10 over the next 2 to 3 years. $1.10 an hour. Well, I think if anyone really looks at what the answer to the questions are, of course, $1.10 is not going to solve any of these problems. But the bigger issue is, at least for me, is I think our workers, I think Connecticut workers are worth more than $1.10. I think our friends, our neighbors, our family members who are suffering through our still lagging economy are worth more than $1.10. 4 quarters and a dime isn't going to do it. All this is another Band-Aid rather than curing the disease. $1.10 cures nothing. What does cure the problem is promoting opportunity, promoting business through stable and tax and regulatory structure. Same stuff we're always talking about in here. You grow your tax base, that grows your education base, that grows your opportunities. The employers can hire people. You grow your the employment rate goes down. That grows your tax base. It's a cyclical process. Let's grow businesses that actually families can live on, not the minimum wage. The minimum wage doesn't do it. My son makes the minimum wage. He drives a boat during the summer, part-time job. My nephew makes a minimum wage. I think he runs a Ferris wheel at a carnival. That's what the minimum wage is. I know there are folks working hard in some fast food places and some of the big box places. I know there are. But I also know that when my family was struggling, a lot of guys had to work 2 jobs. A lot of men and women had to work 2 jobs. And that's just the way it is. It's the way it's always been. It's the way it is. $1.10 isn't going to do it. $1.10 is not going to do it. Our workers, our friends, our neighbors, our constituents are worth more than 4 quarters and a dime. So you step back, take a look at what this bill is trying to do, realize that it's not going to do it, and I think you have to vote no, because this bill will raise the unemployment rate.